All right, let's go on to the next segment, which is going to anger many people in my audience. I got a ton of it. So let me back up. Last week, we looked at this interview that Jordan Peterson did with Joe Rogan. And the interview was just word salad after word salad of meaningless stuff. And predictably, I got a lot of emails from people saying, David, you might not have understood what Jordan Peterson was saying, but it made a lot of sense. In particular, his rant about the Bible. And unfortunately, you're wrong. What Jordan Peterson said about the Bible did not make a lot of sense. And so we're going to go through now. We did an overview of the interview last week. Now we're going to focus in specifically on Jordan Peterson's rant about the Bible, which makes no sense. And there's a really good, there's this subreddit called Ask a Historian. Some people would say Ask an Historian. That's a grammatical preference. And I'm going to summarize some of the comments here. The Reddit user who wrote this out is Kiwi Hellenist, who's an expert in early Greek literature. So let's go through the video. And we are now going to really focus in on the substance. It is an unintelligible word salad, and it's also wrong on the substance. So let's just jump right in.
So I just walked through the Museum of the Bible in Washington. That was very cool. It's a very cool museum.
So the structure, that's what the Bible
that's what
provides.
I figured out. I just figured this out this week. So it was a cool thing to walk through because it's chronological. They have one floor, which is the history of the Bible. But it's not exactly that. It's really what it is the history of the book.
Right.
Now, in many ways, the first book was the Bible.
Okay. In many ways, the first book was the Bible. Now, what does he mean by that? He says he's talking about the history of the book, not the content. Okay. So if that's what he means, the first book was not the Bible. Books date back to the start of the second millennium BC. The Bible dates to no earlier than the 7th century BC, or BCE, as is now often said. Some of it came much later than that even, and the New Testament is even newer. So, okay, first statement, the first book was not the Bible. It's a factually incorrect statement.
I mean, literally, because at one point there was only one book.
Okay. I mean, literally, it was the first book because at one point there was only one book. At one point, I guess there was only one book, but it wasn't the Bible. The Bible was not that book.
Like, as far as our Western culture is concerned, there's one book.
No, that's not true. The Hebrew Bible is made up of a bunch of different texts, and they were written over a period of time that is about 500 years. And prior to that, there were many books that were written. It's what he's saying is it's factually untrue. There's no, I mean, I'm like over explaining. It's just not true.
And for a while, literally, there was only one book, and that book was the Bible. And then before it was the Bible, it was it was scrolls and it was writings on papyrus, but we were starting to aggregate written text together, and it went through all sorts of technological transformations, and then it became books that everybody could buy, the book everybody could buy, and the first one of those was the Bible, and then it became all sorts of books that everybody could buy. But all those books, in some sense, emerged out of that underlying book. And that book itself, the Bible isn't a book, it's a library.
Now, there's actually almost nothing to fact check there. The writings on papyrus, those were the books of the time. So to say that because it was on papyrus, they're not really books, it ignores the reality of the times. Not all future books emerged from the Bible either. Like the Odyssey was written in the 8th century BCE. That didn't emerge from the Bible. Most of the Iliad is older than the Bible. That's a book, whether it was written on papyrus or not. And then there's this sort of last thing he says here.
The Bible isn't a book, it's a library.
The Bible isn't a book, it's a library.
It's a collection of books.
Okay. It's not really clear what he means by that. The Bible is a book made up of different passages written at different times and assembled together. It's a pretty vague statement. And as the culmination of everything else that he said that's straight up wrong, it's not really worth much one way or the other to say the Bible is a library. It's not just that if it sounds like a word salad, we're not smart enough to understand it. To all the people emailing me, insisting me how right he is wrong. He is wrong. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean everything he says is wrong, but he's completely wrong about just about everything he said in that clip. Let me know your thoughts. You can find me on Twitter at dpacman. As someone who watches YouTube, you know how annoying it is to watch ads at the beginning of videos that are completely irrelevant to the content you're watching. That's why you always click the skip ad button. Our sponsor, Thought Leaders, has just launched a new targeting tool that allows advertisers to choose the precise videos where their ads will appear. Using the advanced search in the Thought Leaders platform, which is powered by AI, you can actually find YouTube videos relevant to your brand's messaging. And with Thought Leaders precision targeting, you can really make every view count, optimize your ad spend, improve your conversions. When brands put their ads on relevant videos, they catch their audience when they are most receptive and create a more fulfilling, enjoyable YouTube experience for everyone involved. Plans start at just $60 a month, but you can try it now for just $30 for the first month when you click the link below and use the code PACMAN at checkout.